Representative Gordon Denlinger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome to all of you. It's wonderful to have you here. Special Lancaster County greetings.
Welcome to be here.
And very much we appreciated your earlier comments on the alignment of our educational system with those areas of need, sectors within our economy, which really is, I think, the path of success for our young people, and which you do so very well there at Thaddeus Stevens. I did want to just address your very bold vision of increasing your enrollment significantly. That's applauded, and also I just wanted to kind of touch on that if we can. I've joined you at the school for a ribbon cutting here within the last months, and certainly we're seeing investment that you're making, critical investment, but a doubling of enrollment isn't done easily, and the campus is rather limited, the base campus, if you will. Can you talk with us about capital needs related to the bold vision you have, and just take us through, I guess tied to that is the age of some of the current structures you have and what will be needed to kind of put this all into place?
If, again, the planning matrix that we created is a 10-year, and we just finished our master plan, so we've done a lot of work on this over the last couple of years. We had the opportunity to acquire the former National Guard Armory. We're in the process of acquiring that right now. And if we double the size of those buildings, which is within the capital capacity of what we've been given within our capital plan of 5 years, $5 million, our biggest challenge is going to be the equipment to put inside of those buildings. But we think that with those buildings, with the additional capacity that we have within the branch campus, which we finished renovating recently, and our main campus reallocating some things, we have the physical capacity, especially running the programs in the evening. We're going to need to add staff. These are, I mean, they're not cheap programs to run. It's be a lot, economically, it's a lot easier to put students in four-year transfer programs and teach them English and math and computer science classes and so forth. But the problem is there's no place for those students when they get through, in many cases, to get jobs that'll help them to be productive and so forth. So these programs require a lot of expensive equipment. They require high ceilings, heavy load-bearing floors. They require a lot of utilities. They require educational materials and supplies. They require propane and gas and, you know, a whole bunch of things like that. So when you look at those numbers, that's a realistic, based on our experience, that's what it costs to do that. And we can look at it as an expense, or we can look at it as an investment. I think it's an investment, because I think that if these companies could grow their businesses 40%, and like Griner, the one that gave us $1 million for our expansion, Griner Industries, Frank Griner said, listen, I could do 40% more business if I had more machinists and welders and metal fabricators, but I just can't get enough. I love yours, but you're not giving me enough of them, and I can't get them anywhere else. And we see that over and over again. Kennametals is an incredible Pennsylvania company in Latrobe. Huge company, compete globally. We've been there since I was a young person and dealt in the technical areas. Their machine tools were the standard for lathes or milling machines or anything else. And again, they're running up against the same problem. They can't get the workforce they need to continue to be competitive. So I think it's an investment. I think, you know, we can lament the doldrums of the economy and we can talk about economic expansion, but if you gave these companies, I talked at the last career fair to 30 companies that have been trying to recruit a machinist for 2 years practically, and they can't. They run ads in the Sunday paper at $2,000 an ad, and they can't find anybody. So what are they going to do when 40% of their workforce retires? Griner told us the same thing. He says, I got a guy who I send out to these huge jobs to do this machining, and said, when he's gone, I don't have anybody else to replace him. I'm going to lose all that business, and that's extremely lucrative business to us. I talked to an owner the other day that said he had to go back to one of his machinists that had retired because he had a really good job there, which was going to be a lot of money, and give him all kinds of incentives and beg him to come out of retirement to come back and do this job so he could go ahead and take the job. So I think there's incredible potential out there for economic growth and development. I see what we're talking about not so much as higher education, I see as economic development. How do you expand and grow the economy? You do it by providing these people with the human capital they need so they can go out. We got great companies, and a lot of them are coming back and they're trying to expand here. but we've got to give them the workforce that they need.
Very good. One last question, if I may, and I'm obviously a bit parochial with regard to our county,
Yeah.
but to the extent that you have such a rate of success with young people, have you thought of a branch campus in Western PA or another part of Pennsylvania?
We've looked at it, but I guess we felt within the political realities of today and everything, the biggest bang for our buck is to expand where we are. We know what we're doing, and we've done it for 100 years. We would love to do that. I think you need to clone Stevens and put it around the state. I heard the community colleges testifying here before. I empathize with them. I think in other states, the community college system is much more robust than it is here. If I was a community college president and I got a third of my funding from the state and a third from tuition and a third from a local source, I would not be incentivized to have the kind of programs that we have. It doesn't make sense. Financially, it's not something that's really going to work for you. That's not the way other states fund their community colleges. So whether you clone Stevens or whatever you do, somehow you have to find a way. We spend a lot of money in higher education in Pennsylvania. So I'm not saying that you necessarily need to spend more, but you need to spend it differently. And again, I would go back. I'm not advocating for 2-year, 4-year, or anything. I'm saying look at programs, whether they're 1-year programs, 2-year programs, 4-year programs, or graduate programs, and fund them based on their performance. Are they performing? Are people graduating from the programs? Are they getting jobs in their fields? Are people being able to pay off their student loan debt? Are employers happy with them? That's the way you should fund them, not based on historical parameters. And I understand the political reality of the whole situation, but I'm still saying if you really want to do the best thing for the Commonwealth, you fund programs based on their performance. If you have, and if I've been in higher education for 40 years. I was at a large 4-year college for 25 years of my career and went up from assistant professor up to assistant to the president. Now, I pretty much understand the business. The political reality is people aren't going to change unless there's incentives to change. They're going to continue to offer teacher education programs and produce 12,000 elementary school teachers for 3,000 jobs every year unless there's incentive not to do that. And the incentive is economic. And if you start to reward people for doing what you want them to do, behavior will change. That's the reality of it. I've seen it in my entire career. So if we want to see change, we're going to have to start to reward institutions like Stevens and other institutions, whether they're 1-year, 2-year, 4-year, or graduate programs, they're producing graduates that there's a place for them in the marketplace. And that will help industry and it will help economic growth and development.
Very good. Well, we appreciate your testimony and certainly applaud the success that you've had in the lives of so many young people. We need more of it, obviously, whether that's in a branch campus or right there in Lancaster. But keep up the good work, and we applaud your bold vision to expand your enrollment as well.
Appreciate
Thank you, Mr.
your
Chairman.
support.